large companies who at least have been in control of their own domain, otherwise they wouldn't be large, they have problems to coping with development, technical development in their own domain and also outside of their own domain. And we think that they need the smaller companies to understand what's going on, basically. So that's the reason why we work with big and large companies together. We have today some 120 member companies and members that are the smaller ones. And we have about 45 corporates. 1/3 of the corporates roughly is international foreign companies and 2/3 are Swedish. We started our journey by trying to understand how you actually meet properly. We tried to explain to and teach our smaller companies that this is how you deal with a large company and the other way around. And we started by having a lot of work sessions, workshops together. We tried to figure out how to best meet, what to do, what to follow up, and so forth. And after a couple of years of practice, we spun out a national platform for that specific thing, the matchmaking between large and big small companies, which is called Ignite Sweden. So after 3 years now, Ignite has planned, executed, and followed up something like 2,500 meetings between a large and a small company. So I think we continue to follow the larger companies. And we invented eBazaar recently as another potential national platform where we can help developed companies, smaller companies who have developed so far so they can actually deal with a large company and deliver on their promises and scale up according to expectation. And in order for these companies to easily or easier get access to partners and customers and potential media and investors and analysts across the globe, we would like to build this platform of eBazaar. And this is our 3rd attempt. And I'm glad to tell you that we have a world record for eBazaar because we have 85 attendees today signed up from something like 23 countries. So nevertheless, this is what will happen today. I will try to moderate this. You will not hear a lot of me. I'll just try to make sure that we stick to time and so forth. I have Linda is managing this from her side to make sure that if people speak when they are on mute and so forth, we try to fix that. I will reintroduce the speakers. They will speak for about 10 minutes. We have about 5 minutes maximum for questions. I want you to post questions on the chat, and we'll erase the questions as long as we have time to do it. I also want to ask you to mute and also to take away your video because it will be too much on our screens if we have videos from all the participants. So if you have questions, go to chat. When we are done, and afterwards, you will receive a post-event email from us, which gives you all the contact details for all the speakers. And it also some other information about our other eBazaars that we plan and so forth. And it's also a very good opportunity for you to give us feedback on what we're doing. So without further ado, I hope you sit comfortably now and ready to be inspired by a couple of fantastic companies. There are 6 members of things, and they're all in the area of AI. We decided to have a little bit broader AI event this time. So we cover, let's say, different types of applications and AI solutions. And the first one to speak is Anders from Imagimob. Are you there? Is Anders here? Linda, can you remove the screen? Unshare the screen?
Yeah, now I'm here.
Okay, great. We need Anders to share his screen. There you are. Welcome, Anders. Share your screen and take it away.
Okay. Oh. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
So thank you, Magnus. I'm Anders Hardebring. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Imagimob, and I'm going to talk about our software, Imagimob.AI, that we offer as a software tools as a service. I have this. So first about a little bit about Imagimob. We were founded in 2013. We are specialized in edge AI. And with that, we mean that we run artificial intelligence applications on small chips. We have experience from more than 20 Edge AI customer projects with a lot of big customers and small startups. And what we offer is our software, and we offer it as a service. And together with that, we offer different types of AI expertise, field application engineers. And we are based in Stockholm, Sweden. Now I cannot change slide here. Magnus?
No, I can't help you.
Anders, I think you had some arrows down left. Try that, if you can click the arrow forward.
Down here, yeah.
Yeah, here we are. So, thank you, Linda. So we have done a lot of different projects with big customers, small customers. I think we were very early. I think we were at probably the first in Sweden running this type of projects. And when we first talked about Edge AI to customers, they didn't understand anything. But anyway, one experience from these projects is that without having proper software tools, Edge AI is really a struggle. It's a lot of things to deal with data and so forth. And actually 80% of the time in AI projects is about preparing data. Identify the data, profile data, source it, collect it, label it, prepare for training. And this is also supported by a number of public reports. So this is one experience. In terms of customers, I think they're now maturing, and now they want their employees to be involved. They want their employees to learn about AI, and they want to build internal competence and internal groups in AI. And once they have applications and devices in the market, they want to be able to control them. They want to be able to improve the models and update them when the models are in the field. So with this background, we have developed Imagimob.AI, and we sell it as a service, subscription-based. One important thing is we use deep learning, convolutional networks, fully connected networks, etc. And we think this is important. We think this is the way the market is going for many different reasons. In terms of data, we support time series data and sensors, and that's actually includes a lot of different sensors, accelerometers, radars, optical sensors, thermal cameras, etc. And we say that we do Edge AI applications with very good performance, which means accuracy, low false positives, for devices with constraints. For instance, with processing power, our applications runs on ARM Cortex M0 and higher, which is really the low-end processor. Also constraints on power consumptions, and typically they're battery-operated devices. And finally, RAM memory size, which is always or very often a limitation. And our applications runs from 10 kilobytes and higher, and we know that this is very important in some cases, and this is all very competitive. And we have run around 20 projects with customers where we're using our own tools. And now we have 2 large customers that are starting using our software as a service. Okay, so Imagimob.AI, it's end-to-end from data collection to Edge AI application. So this includes doing data collection, doing data management, building the model automatically, verify the best model, and then optimize it for the edge device. And the first step is to do the data collection and labeling. And for that, we use an Android app. And then we can collect synchronized data together with some kind of metadata, video or sound. So we can connect this to basically any sensor. It can be from engines, it can be for RPMs, everything. It's also possible with the Android app to label in the field. We can be on the factory floor, we can be in the forest, we can basically be anywhere. And once you have collected data and labeled it, you just upload it to the cloud, and then it's available for the data modeling. In the second step, we do label and manage data, and this is maybe a little bit boring, but very important. And here you can access all your data in one place. You can visualize all your data. You can manage the different data sets for testing, validation, and training. And you can also label a subset of your data, and then from that labeling, label all the rest of the data, and that saves a lot of time. In the third step, we actually generate and train the models automatically using our cluster. So we have the data, we set up a number of parameters, and then we send it to the cluster, and that will return a couple of different models, the best models. Then we can verify and compare them, and we can find the best model. And this means that you actually don't need to be an AI expert to do this. So once you have the best model, you can convert it to C code just by the press of a button. And 1 year ago, this step, taking it from Python code to C, took us around 3 weeks. Now it takes around 1 minute. So this is really an amazing improvement. And once we optimize the C code for different target devices, it can optimize the C code for different target devices depending on the RAM size, if it has floating point, maybe hardware acceleration. So we can take advantage of that. And we can also output this code directly to IR embedded workbench. And many of our customers are using that for their embedded development. Okay, so these are the 4 steps. And this is actually the whole process. Like I said, 1 year ago, this took 3 to 4 months. Now we can do it much quicker. So the benefit with Imagimob AI, it's an end-to-end service. Everything is in there. It significantly shortens development time and increases the productivity for the people involved. It also gives a very good understanding to compare different AI models. How do they work? Which is the best one? And it also allows for democratization. And this is actually that you don't have to be like a PhD to do this. You can be like a solid, good engineer, and you can operate the system. And this is what we have felt in the last year. This is really what the customers are asking for, and we see a lot of interest right now. So as a comparison, 1 year ago, it took us 12 weeks to go from data collection to an application. And now we can do exactly the same process in 1 week. So this is an amazing improvement. So finally, we have producing a lot of documents, white papers. You can find them on the website. We're just launching our beta program. So we want applications, and we will qualify and select the best ones that can be on the program. And if you have direct questions to me, here is my email and my phone number. So thank you very much.
Brilliant, Anders. Thank you so much. So do we have any questions for Anders? You can send them on the chat if you like. Meanwhile, I can ask you a question. Can you explain a little bit about your company and which stage you're in, and how many people are you and so forth?
We were founded in 2013. And we were very early with, like I said, we probably were the first in Sweden. We currently around 17 people with consultants and stuff like that. Revenues last year was 7 million kronor, and we just raised 1 million euros. So we will survive the Corona crisis.
That's great. We have a question. How faster in average the C code is in comparison to the original Python one?
This is not a question for me. I would say it's faster, because isn't C code faster than Python? But this is for my engineers.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that. I can't answer either. Have you also worked with hardware with GPU?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Have you also worked with hardware with GPU?
You mean for end devices?
I guess so. I don't mean anything. I read.
I mean, we use our cluster is of course GPUs. So far, most of our target devices has been, you could say, on the low end, which is ARM Cortex M4 with 256 kilobytes. That's a typical device. We have not used GPUs on the device.
Okay. Here's another question. Have you? No, it's not. Oh, like NVIDIA Jetson products. I guess that's a type of GPU.
Yeah, I would say NVIDIA, their devices, they are super powerful.
Yeah.
I would say we are more on the low end where you have constraints on power, RAM, stuff like that.
Can you mention any reference customers or any customers you've been working with?
The customers we can mention is Husqvarna, Scania, and Fleer Systems.
What?
I guess at the moment we are involved in around 10 different customer projects.
Okay.
And most of them, we are not allowed to talk about them.
No. Excellent. I think we stop there, Anders. Thank you very much. And please don't forget to unshare your screen.
I will do that.
You do that somewhere. And while you have done that, we will ask Heydar from SarvAI to join us. Hello, how? There you are.
Yes.
Are you ready?
You give me 1 second, then I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, so
here we go. Excellent.
My screen.
So
Yes.
take it away, Heydar.
Okay, I'm Heydar. I have a PhD in computer vision from KTH. I've been working in bioinformatics, a lot of different AI fields, basically. And I'm coming to you guys from a company called SarvAI. And we like to actually offer machine learning solution. So what we try to do, what we want to do, basically, this is a very short pitch of eBazaar thing, basically. We want to build, serve, maintain custom machine learning solutions for the clients, basically. We have a very, very, very big, tough academic background. And we've been like, Maria is somewhere in the list here. We've been with Maria in the last 4 years. We've been talking to more than like 100 Swedish companies regarding how do they want to basically obtain machine learning capabilities in the companies. And we see very, very big differences between the two, basically. In academia, usually data is fixed. People are racing to have the best solution on the data. There's not much infrastructure needed. Most people are experts in the field, basically. But as soon as we come to the industry, we see that the data is evolving and changing all the time. The data is essentially the Pandora's box. We don't know what's in it until basically we open it up, examine it to see basically what is the what solution it has. Because of the data changing, the solution to the data can change. So we need to actually have a system to observe this solution over a long period of times. And when we talk to a lot of companies, including very, very big companies in Sweden, they usually don't understand much about machine learning practices. They think it's similar to other software developing, software engineering practices. They are very different. And we see that actually to have a common dialogue with these big companies, we have to talk to them on their data for the ML, because the data at least is a common point that we understand to go forward, basically. And we actually encourage companies, when they have a machine learning problem, tie it tightly to a business point. Because if the machine learning problem is not tied to a business point, there is not enough mandate in the company to go forward. And there's one thing we want to tell the companies is basically to do things right. This can be a very long and costly process, basically, right now with what's on the market. So we actually looked around and tried to figure out what would be the right machine learning process for the companies. So first of all, the company comes and say, oh, I have some data, I have some objectives. So basically, this would be the problem definition tied to their business pain point. We try to offer them basically a solution, basically analyze the data, analyze metrics, come up with a machine learning solution, and basically train, optimize previous spokesperson talked a lot about these things, basically the problems with data. So this would be the solution. Then we should look at the deployment platform. They were talking about edge solutions. We talk about a lot of different things. We've talked to IBM with their basically very scalable solutions. And then we need to actually build a maintenance and monitoring system around this thing, which actually, if in long run, if we see that the data is diverging from what we actually, or hypothesis we had over the data, we actually go to the step 2 and have to try to do this. So there is going to be a long process for a successful machine learning development in companies. And when we actually look at the return of investment curve in these things, we see that the return of investment is fairly low in the beginning. We have just a large amount of data usually collected by the companies. We don't know how to attack them. We don't know how to address them. So there's a lot of infrastructure we have to build around this. And this part would be a huge, basically, pit of money for companies to get to an AI differentiation if they get to there. And right now, one of the, if I ask me, the best solution for actually getting AI in the market is either have your own machine learning team or give a lot of money to a consultancy firm to do it. But at SarvAI, we want to ask, is there a better way to obtain customized machine learning solution basically for your company? What we have is basically machine learning as a service, not a software. We try to do machine learning for the companies as a service. So the company comes to us, they have data, they have objectives. We look at the data, we look at the objectives, we try to do the machine learning analysis, we try to do machine learning solution for them. We do the machine learning infrastructure, whatever is needed. If they need edge, if they need GPU computing, anything they need, we can actually provide, bring it. Then we actually build a plan for maintain and monitor their solution in long run. And to do this, we are actually changing we're trying to charge companies much, much less going forward, but we're trying to get their commitment for a much, much longer period of time to actually be able to give them the right machine learning they want, because we still believe to do the right machine learning, you need the right expertise. It's not just a one-click software, as we've seen in a lot of cases. Again, I tell you what we want to do. We want to build, serve, and maintain. And the goal is to minimize what a company needs to do and needs to spend to obtain a custom machine learning solution. So I'll give you 2 examples. I'll try to give you 2 examples of our running projects right now of how we do this for companies. The first company, I had to remove their name. They're a financial company, and we are in a financial crisis. They're not doing very good. I didn't want to have information about them here. So this company basically wanted to do custom credit scoring on their clients to basically based on their previous clients. So they came to us and say, okay, we are getting credit scoring for our clients right now, but this credit scoring doesn't actually clearly show the clients that do default on us. And they asked us why that credit scoring they're getting doesn't work for them. So what we did, basically, we tried to analyze the data. We realized that, look, we told them, look, the segment of the market that you guys are looking at is probably much narrower or has a different distribution to the segment of the market that the credit scoring company that you're buying from actually gives you. Then we actually try to build a solution for them, completely customized based on their data, pack it in our computation platform, and offer them as a basically subscription service, basically. And this is how it works. They basically pack their data in sort of structured data. They send it to our server. They get some information regarding this thing. At the same time, while we're monitoring this, we try to build a lot of custom analytics tools here for them to better basically tie the output of this machine learning to the business pain points they have, basically. In another example, this is a very, very good example. We can have the name of the company here. We're working with Rapid Security to actually, and they came to us and said, look, we have a lot of false alarms from our camera. We have some cameras when it's windy, when it's rainy, when it's basically snowing. These cameras keep sending us lots and lots and lots of false alarms. We want to do person detection in this, basically find if there are people here. And this is a classic case to us that the data is a Pandora's box. Because when they came to us with their data, this is the quality of the data they came to us with, basically, that barely we could find anything. It's so noisy, so low quality. So suddenly they're actually the problem that they thought was a classic person detection in data changed into a very, very complex problem of how do we extract information from these extremely noisy videos for them. We built the solution for them. We packed them in our computation platform. Now they send us a video. They get this sort of a data out. And this platform become extremely efficient. Actually, yesterday, we processed 1,018 videos for them in around 532 seconds. And here we can actually see the maintenance part of this, that over time, we try to observe the data, we try to learn more from the data. And as we actually engage with the company longer and longer and longer, we try to find better and better solutions for them to get better and better basically output from the machine learning that they're using. And we really feel that this is a process. And each of these videos are actually 10 seconds of a video basically. Now, let's go to how we want to work with companies. First of all, to actually get companies on this platform that we have here, we need to understand their data. So we actually offer companies a free AI roadmap. We tell them, ask them, what is your problem? If you share your data and problem with us, we go and examine your problem. We come up with a workshop for you guys and it doesn't cost you anything, that we actually explain the solutions we can find around the data, explain the hardwares we can solve the data, explain a lot of things around your data, your solution, because that's to us, that's the best discussion we can have with the company. And if the company likes the solution, we start with some sort of financial commitment with them. We go forward, we build and maintain this solution. We build and maintain a lot of different solutions. Just contact us to see what we can do, basically. And this is essentially what we're looking for. We're looking for 3 to 5 companies, ideally before summer, to do this first part of free workshops for them. The workshop would be 1 to 2 hours going forward, basically, and we want to prepare. And for us, it takes a long time to prepare this workshop because we essentially have to solve their problems. The workshop will include a lot of introduction to machine learning and machine learning process. It will include ML analysis under data and how we can actually get in the roadmap. We can get to a very state-of-the-art machine learning for them. And we have a big discount for companies that we can sign before the summer with them. So this is, thank you so much for listening. This is essentially, contact us if you need anything.
Excellent. Thank you, Heydar. Let's see if we have any questions on the chat. I'm just looking now. No, not yet. So let me ask you something. Can you tell us a little bit about, where your company is, in what stage, and how many you are?
We are still a fairly small company. We have done around 10 POCs with different companies. We have a couple of customers. We're still very small. I think we are 4-6 people working in the company. We have very good reserve data scientists that all are from my KTH PhD guys that are around Google and Facebook right now, that as soon as we get more clients, they will come in and try to push these more forward. But we're trying to grow the company right now to increase the revenue as much as we can.
Excellent. Great. So I see no questions, so I think we stop there. Thank you so much, Heydar, and good luck. Share your screen. Excellent. So to our next speaker is Martin Rugfelt from Sentian.
Hi guys.
Hello, Martin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Let me go to my presentation. Here we go. Right, can you see it?
Yes, perfect.
All right. So my name is Martin Rugfelt. I'm the CEO and founder of Sentian.AI. And we help large companies transform themselves through AI. And we think that it's time to move beyond the predictive maintenance topic that most of the industry is talking about today, and into a new generation of control system and optimization we think are going to provide a lot of opportunities for a lot of industrial companies. So first, a few words about Sentian. We're an industrial AI solutions company. So we only work with the industry. We try to push the envelope on what's possible when it comes to AI. And we do that through combining our significant resources in terms of their experience with our ambitious R&D program. We were founded by 4 guys that came from another AI company that we exited to eBay, and we've now become around 20 AI experts. We used to be profitable. We'll see how that goes after Corona. We're a member of MindSphere, NVIDIA Inception Program. We've been finalists as best AI startup in the Nordics 2 years in a row. And we have also got great customers. A little bit more about the technology behind Sentian. As I mentioned in the beginning, we put a lot of effort into our technology. So our first one that I'm speaking about is our new model-based reinforcement learning engine for intelligent control system, where we offer a new generation of control systems that are very scalable and very they adapt more automatically to changing conditions and so on. We also have its little brother, our intelligent automation solution, which we use for handling things like variation reduction, settings, and process steps, where we can work with very small sets of data in order to bring solutions to our customers. And we also are very active in the space of optimization. And for instance, we recently beat the current record holder for nonlinear optimization in certain categories. And we have now productized that and is offering that into the market space. We also do things like automatic ML, and we do that for scalability. And it's ideal when you have changing and highly varying conditions, and when you have things that evolve over time, and you need to evolve your models. So I guess what I want to say with this slide is really that we have a very strong technical foundation, and we have a unique edge in our technology. So what have we done with that? Well, we brought it into products. We have our intelligent control and optimization solution, where we effectively boost control systems with AI, and we sort of add intelligence to automation systems. And we do that in order to help our customers get a higher yield and quality. You can put it as AI as a decision maker. We also have our intelligent optimization, where our record-breaking solver, which is very simple to program in a fast way, and we can do fast computations and very accurate optimizations. And we use that obviously to help companies reduce their cost and add revenues. And there we see AI very much as a planner and optimizer. Right, so I want to go into the area of control systems and automation. So if you add a modern AI to existing control systems, you should be able to get somewhere between 3 and 30% of improvements to them. And that's not only us that say that. This particular number comes from McKinsey, but it actually correlates with our experience. Why is that? Well, we believe it has to do very much with if you take it all the way down from machine operators to PLCs, DCS, SCADA, and advanced process control, they all have something in common. They all are programmed by people with human rules. And now that is, we've come a long way in that space, and there are lots of good solutions there, but there is room for improvement. Companies that are looking at this from an industry point of view, they have mainly started doing that with analytics. Problems with just adding analytics to these kind of things, and machine learning analytics and so on, is that it's very expensive and it doesn't really scale. So what you really want to do is get to an AI-powered intelligent process control that you can automate. So why a new generation of control system now? Well, at the foundation, new AI has brought basically better than technology than the old solutions, where you have things like fuzzy logic and model predictive control and things like that. And we also have more data, which improves it even further. We have faster computers and better interfaces. And we also get evolving solutions. AI is evolving very rapidly, so you want to stay with that path. The situation is that you can actually get a lot of benefits from this. So you can solve problems like problems with your yield and productivity, with quality issues. You have waste, you have human errors in your process and things like that. And you can solve that with this kind of technology. You can also add revenues on the opportunity side, easier installation and customization, continuous development of your solutions, more flexibility, autonomous solutions. So it's a lot of things going for these kind of things. So the way we've set it up is that this is based on both machine learning and optimization. And as mentioned in the beginning, we have both of these skills within our company. And you apply this not only to machines, but to whole plants. So it's very flexible in that sense. Just a quick case, it's an intelligent control and automation case where we added intelligence to their automation system, and the goal was variation reduction. In this case, they have a highly automated manufacturing, and they wanted to use AI from a strategic point of view of reducing cost and adding revenues to their business. And what they had as a problem was really that they had a small but significant process variation in their production. And by adding AI to their automation and control system, the goal was really to reduce this variation and improve the sensor accuracy and yield. Lots of data science challenges, such as not much data, the variation drifted over time, complex environment, lag time to get feedback, and so on. But we solved that very nicely with the solution we have, and we deployed it in 2019. We got an increase of 20% in quality for their sensors, and we handle their updates automatically now, and we applied it to a lot of other sensors. So this is really enterprise AI at scale. And I mean, having this variation in input variables and in settings is very common in the process, in the manufacturing and process industry. And these automation and control systems, they're built to handle this as best as they can, but the limitation is obviously, as I mentioned before, programmed by humans. So there's lots of other cases where this applies: paper mills, aluminum production, oil well, mining, and so on. So lots of opportunities in this space. I wanted to just briefly mention about our intelligent optimization solutions too. So it's really the same logic as with the other one. We have better AI now. We have faster processing, better interfaces, more data, and an evolving nature of these solutions. So that opens up for a lot of new possibilities in the optimization space that was previously often overlooked because not enough data or too complex, too difficult to work with. In our particular case, where we beat the current world record, we did that in QAP, but we're also very good in flow shop and job shop problems and traveling and salesman with this kind of solution. I won't bore you with the details of the record breaking, but yes, we did do that. Good cases, if you have a service fleet, loss of personnel that is servicing machines across a number of points. This is a good case for adding optimization for remotely connected machines and other similar situations. Other cases is obviously in the supply chain, where you have staff planning, forecasting, packaging and warehouse optimization, distribution optimization, and these kind of situations. So lots of new opportunities within that space. And I guess that was really what I wanted to show you guys. We're ready to handle a lot of good cases. We have a really great team of people with a lot of experience. And we have absolutely fantastic products that are easy to implement, and you can get cracking very quickly. Yes, that was
brilliant, Martin. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, please post them on the chat. Martin Sentian actually comes from southern Sweden, which is great. And I just want to make a point that the things we have a national approach to what we do, and we are not the local incubator or anything like that. We try to help the right companies to scale in Sweden and abroad. So that's really what we do. And we try to collect around us people like those that you meet today, who are ready and interested to do that. So just to position us right. Any questions for Martin? No. Can you tell you a little bit about your company? We have some investors on board, for instance. Are you interested in investors, or where are you as a company?
Right. Well, actually, we're a self-funded company. We've been around since 2016. We came from these other AI companies. We had a bit of a background in the space, and we could quickly get into what we wanted to do. We had been I started with AI 12, 13 years ago, so some time ago, 13 years ago now. We've been able to do this on our own. We will be able to, we'll be looking for financial or funding basically now as our products have matured and we're scaling really. So yeah,
that's it.
Where we stand.
Well, I get no questions to you, Martin. So thank you so much. And we skip this one over to, let me see. Now it's Melissa. Now we go to, well, you are not in the West Coast, but your company is from the West Coast, just to make the point about national coverage. Melissa from Ekkono, please share your screen and get going.
I don't have anything to share, actually.
Oh.
You just get to hear me.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah, indeed. I thought I'd go completely novel. You know, you're supposed to be doing a bazaar, so I need to pitch you. So I'm here to sell exactly one thing. And it's, you know, it's the kind of thing everyone actually needs. But first, I should probably say a little bit about who we are. I'm presuming that you can see me because I can only see Magnus, which is great. Means I've got someone to talk to. So a little bit about us. We do edge machine learning, and edge is a wonderful word because everyone has at least one edge. Some people have several edges. Some of them are sharp. Some of them are soft. So I know that everyone who's on this call has something to do with AI and machine learning. And I know that there's a pretty good chance that most of you have some edge in your life as well. And when we say edge, what we're talking about is things that are in the real world. So devices that are out there that are on the edge of the real world. So they're talking to sensors, they're integrated into stuff, they're communicating back out to your central system, your backend, your business processes, anything like that. And we support that. So we don't have an end-to-end solution. We don't have platforms that you buy from us. What we have is a very cool set of technology and libraries that you can integrate into your existing solution that let you do neat stuff. And today we're going to talk about change detection. And change detection is really one of those topical things at the moment because everything is changing. You know, my LinkedIn is absolutely full of, oh my goodness, it's change, it's change, it's change. And it's really obvious at the moment that things have changed because there's been a big disruption in the world. But, you know, in the reality of the world, lots of changes are very little. And people might not even notice that they're happening. And it's really hard to have a change detector that works on the edge, on those little devices that are out there in the real world, that doesn't need to keep referring back to a central system to figure out what is actually happening in the world around you and whether those changes are supposed to be happening or whether they're not happening. But more interesting than that is, for example, my office here. You know, my office is my office. There isn't another office like it. And I think if you all turned your cameras on, we would see some of you in kitchens, some of you in living rooms, some of you probably in bedrooms. All of you have a different environment. And how do you detect change reliably on that with an AI solution? How do you make a model that would work for any environment, for any device, for anything that's out in the real world? How do you know that the equipment that you've installed in your stone crusher works exactly the same when it's crushing different types of stones? You know, we're focused very much on that industrial space and the IoT space. So, you know, we don't do video stuff like this. You want to do that? There's lots of other companies who can do great things like that. But it doesn't mean that things don't change in the environment that your devices are operating in. So we have this tiny library that will run on those. It's designed for embedded systems. It's built for embedded systems. The research from University Bureau, 7 years of it, built up to getting us an IoT ML AI system that can be put into your existing devices without you needing to chuck everything away, without you needing to adopt a new IoT platform, without you needing to re-architect everything. And that works on pretty much anything which has a CPU. And it gives you some really cool advantages. It lets a device learn about the environment. It lets it be an installation-specific learning and to do it on the time. So you don't need to have a perfect model that will work for every single one of your customers. You can have a device that will just go, hey, I'm here. This is what it's supposed to be like. And over time, you know, it might be a day, it might be a week, depending on how different and varying that environment is. It can learn what's normal. And all of a sudden, you have the ability to go, that's not normal. I know what that is. That's concept drift. And concept drift is a way of very rapidly identifying the difference between a change that is within the normal behavior of your device and a change that is actually outside of that normal behavior. And it works on looking at how the models are performing and if the concept that those models are encapsulating is changing over time. And we can do that because we're building that model up incrementally, learning from the data as it comes in all the time. And we don't need to have all of that data up front. We don't need to transfer all of that data to the cloud, which means that it doesn't matter whether you capture everything from your device. You can build this into your software and you can build it in and start learning and figure out whether your device is behaving properly. You know, and that could be whether your battery performs right. It could be whether your motor is overheating properly. And you can do that without having to worry about GDPR, because we're not needing you to transfer all of these sensor readings into the cloud. And better than that, if you buy today, we'll include virtual sensors for free, but you have to buy today. So, you know, there's a whole lot of different ways to do AI and machine learning and IoT and all of these things. And we're not trying to change that. We're not trying to give you a complete solution. We're not trying to change your workflow. What we're trying to do is give you the tools so that you can integrate into your existing platforms or the ones that you're working on and developing without having to re-engineer everything, something that works offline, something that works specific for each device, and something that can handle the changes and the variation and the flexibility that's inherent in devices that are installed in the real world. And those devices aren't the same as web browsers. You know, they behave differently and they need different techniques and different modeling and different ways of thinking about the problem. So that's my pitch. I know you all need this because everyone needs to know when their devices have a change, you know, and you could add this as an extra backup to your existing monitoring, maintenance, whatever processes. So come talk to us. We're here, we're ready to talk, and we know a lot about change detection.
Brilliant.
So you have
Brilliant,
to ask me the
Melissa.
question.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, I ask you, I have a presentation next week. Can you do that for me?
Absolutely.
But I think your presentation was wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sure there are questions on the chat here. So until we get some, can you just tell us a little bit about the stage of a company? So, you know, how many are you and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I know you're from the West Coast, so you know, that's a good, important beginning.
You can ask me that. And I've got the distinction of not being a co-founder. So my comments on the stage of the company from a slightly different perspective. We've been running for a fair while now, a couple of years. The research before that, 7 years worth of research. So there's quite a lot of academic background into that, very much focused on this one topic. We are part of 4 of the 10 largest industrial equipment manufacturers in Sweden. So we're becoming part of their solution, which I think is a pretty outstanding start. And the cool thing about companies like that is that, you know, they're building their own solutions. They have a need to have something that fits into what they want to have in their business environment. And that's exactly where we're positioned. We've done around about 20 proof of concepts, every single one of which has been paid for. So as part of doing a proof of concept, we would establish things that had business value. We're very, very much into that. Learn the environment, learn the data, figure out how it works, and make something that provides business value. Because if you don't have an ROI, you're never going to go beyond a proof of concept, are you? And just to emphasize that point, 90% of those proof of concepts are proceeding. So, you know, not only are people wanting to pay to test it, but they actually want to implement it in their solution, which I think is fantastic. And there's 23 of us. We're a little bit distributed throughout Sweden, which means that remote working is a doddle. Though we do have a challenge on who can sit in the nicest place for our afternoon virtual coffee break. But, you know, that's part of the fun. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I see no questions, but I have another kind of observation I would like to share. So Ekkono, and I would say all the companies you hear here today, they are founded by people who have done things before, and I think that is so important. If you dive into those quite tricky, deep tech-ish kind of areas, you just have to bring on people who actually have done things before, who know how things works and so forth, and also in the way how you run your company and in paid trials and pilots, everything is so important. And the large companies just have to understand that these people are worth a lot and they have to get paid for, you know, when they do things. Yeah. I think we stopped there, Melissa. Thank you so much. That was great. And I'm going to ask our next speaker, and this is I would say in the edge in another way, because now we're coming close to the brain, which makes it interesting. So, Mohammad, are you around?
Yes, I'm here.
Great.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sure, loud and clear. Take it away. So share your screen and take it away.
Okay. So can you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Perfect. So here is InnoBrain. a company that tries to reveal the brain's fingerprints. So we don't offer a pure AI, rather we offer an AI-based solution. So InnoBrain is a Nordic company. We're a spin-off from KTH. We've been founded in 2017, and we're located in Stockholm. And we provide a brain-computer interface platform for industrial applications. And with that, we enable the evaluation of human cognitive and emotional states based on the foundation of neuroscience and the analyzing power of artificial intelligence, what everyone actually talked about it in the past presentations. What we are actually looking for and what type of problem we're looking to solve is that evaluating and tracking the cognitive and emotional states of the humans, and in general focus groups, actually using the current approaches, current methods, are actually challenging, and basically they are insufficient for complex product and situations, and in many cases it's using those solutions is impossible to get the correct result, and they're also limited in range of applications. And by methods I mean using focus groups, observation, providing surveys, questionnaires. So these are the current methods that are trying to evaluate the cognitive and emotional states of a person. So what InnoBrain is actually providing, what is the solution that we are providing, is a brain analyzing platform to determine those cognitive and emotional states. And how that works is basically we use electroencephalography. This is an approach to measure the brain signals. So we basically measure the brain signals while the users are exposed to the product. This product could be a digital product or a physical product, basically a prototype or a final product. And this digital product could be image, web, like a web-based, a digital product or video or something similar. And using our AI-based algorithms, we analyze the signals and we extract features of that. So we label the brain signals and we extract features which are important for the customers to understand the users of their products and to provide these results to the customers. So the market, I mean, the use of platform could be found in many different industries. So it could be, for instance, we have evaluation of the focus groups in architecture and industrial design. For instance, the company is trying to understand if their prototype, if their final design is appealing to the users. It could be used in automotive or aviation to, for instance, track the drivers. Nowadays, we have remote drivers working with just screens. So our solution is used for tracking the cognitive state of those drivers to see if they are in a correct position, if they are awake, or it could be used in aviation to, for instance, train the pilots in flight simulators, for instance, to evaluate their emotional cognitive states. It could be used for gaming, entertainment, media, and advertisements to evaluate the games or medias. And also it could be used for within the medical device industry. This is what we focus lots on with our customers. Basically to evaluate the usability of the medical devices, for instance, how the patients or in general the users like the doctors, nurses, operators are working within a specific device. It has also some mental health applications in terms of evaluating the cognitive states, how the people are behaving, or I mean, how much is the level of the behavior, is it like a normal one, do they need some improvement, such and so forth. These are some examples of the target markets and some of the industries that we've been working with. So with our platform, we basically transform the brain from an inaccessible organ into an addressable agent. And that will provide bias-free information because we'll get the information about the cognitive state of a person directly from the brain signals. And that makes the results more reliable rather than just going through questionnaires, interviewing the people, and you know that there are lots of biases and because there's a human interpretation involved in understanding the results and those cognitive and emotional states. So we provide objective results. So this is time-based information. There is no interpretation of a human in between. So using our AI-based algorithms, we provide an automated algorithm. So it makes the process much faster compared to the traditional method, which might take days or weeks. And that's faster. And it's holistic, so there is no limitation when you are evaluating a person. There is no limitation in the gender or in the age or the type of application, the process that you are going to evaluate. So there are some showcases due to the GDPR and some limitation. I cannot show the whole platform and how it works basically. But what we did, like from some of the customers where we had within the medical devices. Here is like in the left picture. In the left picture, you can see a patient's working with the medical devices, and we evaluate basically the brain load, how the patient is working with the device. And with the outputs of our platform, the customer could understand how the patients in the first hand work with the device. They could use this information to benchmark their design with the available methods in the market. And they could also use this objective information for certification process, for instance. In the right side, as a project we did for a company within the customer within the media, they wanted to evaluate and extract some information from a movie, and that would be used for movie recommendations. And you might know that there are lots of companies working with movie recommendation, and some of the features that you see there might come from our product. And there are other applications, for instance, in the automotive industry, as I mentioned, for instance, or the gaming industry. And the solution that we're providing was a winner of the Escapa Innovation Prize in the memory of Nobel in 2019, and we got also support from different private and governmental sectors, like like innovation, such and so forth. So that was my presentation. I tried to make it short and leave a place for questions.
Very, very good, Mohammad. I have a question from somebody. He refers to what metrics on the cases are on the y-axis. So
yeah, of course. So in the left side we have the brain load. In the right side we have where it's for the medical device. In the right side we have motivation, attention, and the memory part. Okay. Of the brain signals. I mean, it's not, we have more than 10, we labeled more than 10 different type of emotions from the brain signals. And since you're using deep learning, we're actually extracting more features. But right now we have about 15 different emotions and cognitive states. We label exactly more than 10 different emotions from the brain signals. And by using the deep learning, they extract more features. So, and with these features, you can understand how the person is behaving. Yeah, so this is like from our platform. Of course, this is, maybe it would be a question later on in which stage we are. We have the proof of concept. We have some, we did paid pilots with potential customers, and now we have paying customers also within the medical device industry, within the media industry. And we're going to work with gaming industry and entertainment also. And we are also involved in projects within the automotive sector.
Brilliant. Any questions? Any more questions for Mohammad? What devices do you use to capture the emotions?
Actually, we don't capture the emotion, we capture the brain signals, and that is off the shelf hardware. Our platform can actually use any different type of EEG devices, because the most important thing for us is to measure the brain signals. And for measuring the brain signal, this is a technique which is out there from 60s, and you can actually buy it. So we need the raw signals, and we use, we have also actually partners within the hardware that they're providing hardware to us. But we have two hardware providers, and we use their hardware where you can actually go to the market and buy different type of hardware. And we have now two different type of hardware that we use for the measuring the brain signals. And later on, we extract the emotions. It's not, you cannot directly measure the emotions. You measure the brain signals, and out of the brain signals, you, as I said, using our AI-based algorithms, we extract features which are replicating the cognitive and emotional states, or representing.
Here's another question for you. Can you do these tests one by one, or can you test on many at a time?
Many at a time.
Many at a time. Another question. What's your business model?
Actually, right now, we, since you're like early stage, we provide solution sales. So this is like a service we're providing to generate revenue. But our intention is to make it like a software. So now we have the algorithms, and now Our intention is to release the beta version at the end of 2020. So that will be software as a service. And we also bundle our product with other companies. For instance, now we have partnership with market research companies, with usability companies, and with hardware companies. So we bundle our product together and we offer it to a broader range of customers. But at the moment, we're providing solution sale.
Another question, which is quite obvious for some of us. What is a KTH?
Oh, okay. KTH is in Swedish is Kungliga Tekniska Högskolan, and it's Royal Institute of Technology. This is we've been part of. I did actually my PhD at KTH, where I worked within the not exactly same field, was related to this one, and we've been part of the KTH Innovation, which is a kind of pre-incubator for startups at KTH.
Yeah. And actually, our house, our 2,000 square meters, is actually located,
I have to actually
add located on KTH campus.
Exactly. I have to add this one into my slides.
Yeah, great. Next time we do that. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Mohammad. We have to move forward. Thank you so much.
No worries.
And please don't forget to unshare your screen. Great. Super. So to our last, not least speaker, Erik, are you there? Erik, calling Erik Zeitler. Yes, I see you, but we don't hear you, so you have to unmute, I guess.
I have so many mute buttons. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you very well. Loud
Fantastic.
and clear. Erik from Stream Analyze, please share your screen and get going.
Yay. We'll see. Yeah, there's a share screen button, and I will share an empty desktop. That's not a bad start, is it?
No, it works so far.
Yeah, so far so good. And look, we have a presentation.
Yeah, we see it and we hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm happy that you're still here. Okay, so let's get going. Enabling AI everywhere. So we're going to talk about Stream Analyze, our data processing infrastructure, and a couple of use cases. And this is the agenda that we have set out. SA Engine at eBazaar. We have 4 use cases. I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about the platform, some consequences on the development process enabled by our platform, and a few words about TensorFlow integration. So I'm afraid we had to start right away. So this is the first use case. This is one of those classical preventive maintenance use cases that we all have come to love by now. I think, yeah, so in this case, we have a wheel loader driving around in a mine up after a blast. And it's put under very, very heavy wear and tear. It's important to know, okay, when does this wheel loader break down? Because you would very much like to know that well in advance before it actually breaks down, because towing heavy equipment inside a mine is very expensive. So we managed to deploy a model that was running in one of the embedded systems on this wheel loader. The big win in this use case, I had to claim, is that we managed to remove a lot of programming from the equation here. So instead of having a bunch of embedded programmers, we had the analysts able to express models in an analyst intelligible way, which then had important consequences for the analyst productivity. Second use case that we want to highlight is related to radio astronomy, and in this case we'll really put to the test in terms of scalability and ability to run non-trivial models. There is a few exciting details about this very use case. What they are actually doing is, what they actually did was building a radio telescope that was a virtual dish with a diameter of 350 kilometers. With such a dish, comprised of a whole bunch of omnidirectional radio receivers, you're actually able to look further than anyone else has ever been looking before. And looking further away in the universe means looking back in time. So they were actually able to look at the epoch of reionization and things like that that I never heard about before. Where we came in was in 2 use cases. We had the ionospheric mitigation. When you're looking, when you're using a radio telescope and looking through the stratosphere introduces heavy disturbances. It's like lying down on the bottom of of a swimming pool and trying to look up, and everything you look at will be blurred. So what you need to do is to apply a nonlinear model in order to mitigate for those for the disturbances introduced by the ionosphere. Being able to run that kind of non-trivial ionospheric mitigation was a very interesting challenge for a platform. Third use case, shop floor optimization. So in this case, we had a very important exercise on scaling down our platform so that we was able to actually execute any and all AI models on this pieces of small equipment, typically embedded systems with very limited capabilities. And in this fourth use case, we wanted to highlight the ability, once we have installed our systems on these embedded systems that can be found in automotive, for instance, then we're actually are able to start interacting with the equipment and asking queries over it, trying to understand, gaining a better understanding of what is going on in the cars out there, what is going on in the car fleet. And by doing so, we can also adjust the behavior of the vehicles that are driving around there. And that, of course, has very important consequences for the ability to do product development. Okay, a few words about the platform called SA Engine, Stream Analyze Engine. Typically, what we do, it's basically able to execute anywhere. So here we actually have two more use cases: ball bearings and chainsaws. We can talk more about that offline, I guess. So in all these cases, we are running SA Engine on edge devices, including embedded systems. Then usually we have a monitoring center where analysts and engineers are trying to understand what's going on in the fleet of ball bearings or wheel loaders. Typically, we are streaming data, reduced sets of data streams from these edge devices to the monitoring center. That might be cloud-driven, for instance. We have a bunch of integrators so that we can persist the data using Kafka or any choice of our customers. Then we also are able to run SA Engine on embedded devices and mobile devices such as iPads and what have you, so that field engineers are able to carry instances of SA Engines with them in order to do mobile analytics, querying the fleet when they are out there in the wild. And a few words about the platforms that we're able to execute on. We have the IoT on the left-hand side, the smallest platforms, Android, Pi, and even smaller things such as the Mango Red. Portable devices include Android. We also have the ability of running in browser, so we could actually run a full-fledged SA Engine, Stream Analyze engine inside the browser. Desktop server cloud, we're also running on supercomputers. A few words about the impact on the development process. What we have been observing in the use cases is that once our platform is being used, analysts and engineers experience substantial productivity increase. And we're talking about orders of magnitude here, which is a very important, I think, feature of our systems because in the face of evolving data and in the face also of evolving use cases, we have seen that in a lot of cases when we are collaborating with industrial partners, they don't really know what's going on until they look at the data. And I think that adheres very well to what we have heard from the other speakers today, that you need to get your hands dirty with the data before you actually can say something. So models can be developed, validated, and refined on the fly, taking out a lot of tedious and time-consuming data collection activities of the development cycle. And finally, a few words about the TensorFlow completeness, as I like to call it. So one of the data models that we maintain is a metadata model of TensorFlow, including neural network architecture and parameters. This means two important things. First of all, any TensorFlow model can be deployed on any edge device that is running SA Engine. And secondly, which is also interesting. We can then also keep training the TensorFlow model that has been deployed on the edge device. We can keep training that because we do have knowledge about the neural network architecture and neural network parameters. And having that knowledge also gives us the opportunity, of course, then to tweak the parameters using any favorite neural network training algorithm. Okay, I think I was pretty fast, but that's the full slide deck I had, actually.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much, Erik. Do we have any questions for Erik? Or I'll take a look, or let me see. No, not so far. So while we get questions, maybe I'll ask you something. So is this something you came up with a couple of years ago, or is there a lot of research behind, maybe?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, for instance, this radio astronomy use case that I threw in the beginning, I think that's actually 10 years old or so. So we've been around, and we are substantially based in research. I think the SA engine product has been developed for well over 20 years. And Stream Analyze then as a company has been existing for 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's based on research performed mainly at Uppsala University.
Great. And another question then. So when you talk about putting the software, the SA client into any devices, I mean, do you have a lot of dependencies on hardware and software or other stacks, or how does that work?
So yes, that's a very good question. So basically, we have no other dependencies. The only thing we need is a C compiler. So please make sure you have a C compiler, and then we're good to go. We don't depend on any external libraries.
Okay. And finally, because I still don't have any questions here, finally, what's the status of the company, and are you looking for? We have some investors on the call as well, so I would like to send that question to all of you. What are you today? How does it look like? How many people?
Right. So we are about 10 people, give or take, and we managed to attract some venture capital a couple of months ago. Yeah, so currently we have no urgent need of any additional venture capital, but that might change. So that will be an interesting discussion to have offline.
Okay, great. So here's a question for you. What is the benefit of using TensorFlow integration with your software versus TensorFlow Lite?
Right. So what we have seen is that TensorFlow Lite is less lightweight than our native TensorFlow integration or our TensorFlow meta model.
Okay, I guess that was you're beyond my knowledge now. So I guess
so basically we have TensorFlow, TensorFlow is a heavyweight machinery. Okay. TensorFlow Lite is more lightweight, but then we also can run on even smaller and limited devices using SA engine.
Okay, brilliant. I think we stopped there, Erik. Thank you so much. And do you know what, guys? We are in the end of the presentations. So let me just add something to you, since we have a lot of people from a lot of countries here. If you're born and raised in Sweden, going abroad is nothing you think about. There's nothing we have in the milk from the mother, so to speak. So people don't necessarily here talk about, whether they're looking for other countries or stuff like that. We are by definition going abroad as soon as we start a business here. So I can tell you that every single company we work with at Things, including those members here, they are interested and willing and ready to go abroad if you want to. So with that, I would like to thank you, and I think we should stop there. Before we say goodbye for today, I'll just tell you that we're going to run 2 more eBazaars in May, one on smart buildings and one on smart mobility. And then over summer, instead of having vacation, we will work on analyzing how this works, and we'll change a little bit the concept as we need it. And then we plan to make this a national platform starting in after summer on a regular basis to scale up this kind of meetings. And I hope you would like to join us for that, and you like that as well. Finally, for those enterprises around, As I mentioned before, I guess we have something we call Things Enterprise Circle members. That's our little program for enterprises. Things is a self-funded company, so we have no grants from taxpayers or anything like that. And we like our corporates to actually be members of our thing. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We'll write something about that in the post-event mail to you. So thank you so much for having been with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy every single time I listen to those wonderful companies, and I hope that came through to you as well. Thank you so much, and goodbye.